Now, as is pretty obvious, I love this car. It is my absolute dream car, and everything, mostly, about it I adore. But there are some things that kind of bug me about this car. A few things, and I want to make a video talking about those points as to what I don't really like about this car. I mean, you're like, what's not to like, Theo? It's an R34 GTR, what could you not like? A few little bits. There's a few little bits that you don't really get until you really own the vehicle. I mean, hey, it happens with every car. Not every car is perfect. Thankfully, I bought a tuner car so we can fix some of those problems. But some of those problems, let's just get into the problems. Fun little fact for those that are really into technology, myself. So I actually have been using an A7R for absolutely everything for a while. I dropped to using GoPros for a while. But what I've actually got set up today is the new Hero 6. And I thought it was a little bit silly, but honestly, I've got the Hero 6 and the stability is amazing. So I'm actually going to try that inside the car today with an external mic because I've ordered an adapter, it's not come yet, and I can see my screen here. That's usually how I do my videos, but with this camera right here, as you can see, it's a little bit of a big boy. But we're trying a GoPro in 4K today. The only clips that won't be 4K are some cinematic-y bits that I filmed prior. Okay, filming on the GoPro. Film on the microphone. 3, 2, 1. Sync-a-rooney. I hope that's ready. Let's get it on. Where's my key? It's in my pocket. Let's get it on. Woohoo! RB26, let's get it on. Oh, smooth, smooth. So the first thing might sound a little bit insignificant and silly, but this is based on just general usage of the car. It's not based on, oh, he can't mention that part because of the fact it's only insignificant. The window wipers in this car, it's really frustrating. I'm going between using obviously my RCF a little bit more daily than the Skyline because, well, I know I can replace an RCF and I could replace a GTR, sure, but am I going to get this perfect example as it? No, it's just like a whole new world. But the window wipers are on the complete opposite side. I'm getting a little bit more used to it. The more I drive it, obviously, the more I get used to it. And when I get into a manual car now, my brain is like, right, I'm past the first stage of, oh, I'm mixing them up. I'm not mixing them up. What I'm doing, I get in the manual car and I'm like, right, my brain's like, right, the indicator's going to be on the opposite side. All sorted, mate. All right, geez. But no. What happens now, instead, is that my brain is like, okay, you're in a manual car. That must mean the indicators are on the opposite side. No, brain, that's not how it works. I mean, sure, it would work if all my cars were Japanese imports, but they ain't. So I get into the TT, for example, and then I mess it up. It's rather frustrating. But it's kind of an insignificant one. But it is funny. So if you see me pulling away from somewhere, and I decide to wipe my wipers, wipe my windows, I'm probably not intending to do that. I'm probably messing up, and I'm actually intending to use my thingy. You know what it's just really embarrassing. Because inside, like, some people won't know what I'm doing. Some people are like, why is he wiping? It's not even raining. Like, what's he doing? That's not my intention. I'm not intentionally, oh God, this may have been an, oh my Lord, this was an awful idea. There's traffic everywhere. Well, this was going to be a let's drive and talk video. But apparently now it's become a let's drive and crawl. Oh no, he's crawling in a manual. That's going to be the hardest thing ever. I don't know why people do it. It's not hard to crawl in a manual. It's just Americans that say that. It ain't true. But that leads us on to part number 2, which is the rear wing view. Now you're like, what do you mean? Like, you look back and you see the wing? Yeah, that's the best thing ever, Theo. You love wangs. Why are you disrespecting the wang? Across the sea. Whew. Ah, gorgeous. The wing is incredible. I love it. It's an amazing, iconic piece of this car. Without a wing, it would look a little bit silly. The problem occurs when you look into the rearview mirror to be like, oh, who's this person tailgating me? Oh, never mind, I get a big face of wang, which is not what I requested. I didn't request a face of wang. I didn't want the wang right then. Get rid of the wang when I don't want it, and then the wang can come back when I do want it. I know, I'm being silly, but literally, in the rear view, you will not see anything but the wing. If you want to look exactly what someone's plate is behind you, you can't. You cannot see the plate at all, which is a good thing. It's why I installed the rear view camera. If you didn't know, I've installed a reversing camera to this car, which I can put on without even going into reverse, which is very useful for seeing other people's plates and shouting at people because they're too close, and I can confirm that they're too close by looking at my camera. But again, it's something that you can live with. It's not massively bad about the car. I don't want to remove the wing. That's not what I'm about. I'm keeping that wing. You can actually get a taller wing. You can replace the wing with a current, like, completely aftermarket one, all this kind of stuff. I'm not set on what I'm going to be doing in that case right yet, but we'll find out sooner than later, hopefully, what's going on with the wangness, because I kind of like the wangness, and I don't have another car with a static wang, so the wang is staying for the time being. It's just iconic. Number 3, fuel economy. Kind of rhymed if I put a little schwang on it. The fuel economy on this car is just bad. It's just bad. Anyone with a somewhat performance car will know that you're going in expecting bad fuel economy. Woohoo! R34, you did it again. You make me smile every time. But this car's really weird. So the tank in this car isn't as big as the RCF, so it doesn't take as long to fill or as much money to fill. Fuel in the UK is much more expensive than it is in the US, okay? This would be amazing fuel economy. You wouldn't even care. You'd fill up for $20 and you'd be going for miles. This, no, I have to spend about 50 quid to fill it, which compared to the RCF, which is about 70, is not as bad, and obviously always premium, which is why it's probably so expensive. But the tank is weird. So it's an older car, the dial's not amazingly accurate. For example, I will fill it up to full, and upon filling it up to full, it stays full as every other car does for a while. But for this car, it seems to spend most of its life on full, the tank of fuel, and then as soon as it's dropped below the full line, as soon as it becomes on the actual full line, it's gone. Like, it just goes, sits there for absolutely ages, and then just gone. It's bizarre. I can't understand it. I've been in a lot of other cars and they've all acted differently on fuel, but this is just another level of weirdness, man. I actually got the indicators there, just see. Oh, pants my G using the actual indicators. Let's go. Woo! But hey, I've dived into this knowing that fuel economy is not going to be great. It's probably about as good as the RCF, but the tank is smaller, so honestly, overall, it's not too bad. And this road is really bumpy and horrible. Hello. What was that? I'm so glad I caught that on camera. I hope I caught that on camera. It's 4K, of course. They can zoom in. They can be like, wow, Theo, this is clarity. But no, as I said, I dived into this knowing that the fuel economy wouldn't be great, and it's only going to get worse. But I don't drive it every day, so I'm not looking for economy. So, again, somewhat insignificant issue, Theo. Why are you bringing it up? You knew about it before you bought. How easy it is to spend money. This never crossed my mind as an issue, because the RCF had a huge problem in the fact that with the RCF, there aren't many parts that you can buy for the car, because it's such a niche car. Not many people make parts for it. For example, the BMWs, you're going to find million replicas of the official M Sport parts, and then you're going to find variations that other people have created, all this kind of stuff. Well, with the RCF, you're not going to find, oh my god, this road is disgusting. You're not going to find anything. What you do find is going to cost you an absolute bomb. So, yeah, that was an issue with the RCF. But now, coming onto the Skyline, I don't know why that person just basically ran a red. When it came to the Skyline, I was like, right, there's going to be a bajillion parts for this car. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to slap them all on. And quite honestly, they're not that expensive. So again, it's great. There's so many parts. They're not too expensive, like carbon hoods for cheap as chips, and it's amazing. And then you realize that, oh, I've just spent all of my money, which is fine, because again, I wanted to be able to spend money on my car, which is one of the reasons I got this car, because there's so much you can do to this car. But unfortunately, at the end of every month, I end up very poor. I mean, I've just recovered from the purchase of this car, but either way, there's too many parts. It's too easy to spend money, and they've blocked up this whole junction here. But overall, I much prefer the fact that I can spend my money on things, unlimited amounts of things, and I could just keep going and going and spending, and I like that because of the fact that you can just do anything with these type of cars. You can build it into an absolute drag monster with 1,000,000 horsepower, which is why people like to do so. You can also make it a normal, nice, drivable street car where you just maintain it and it lives on forever and ever and ever, because Japanese amazingness. But that is majority of the list. You're like, what's going on from this? So you can waste all your money on it, your wipers, your rear wing, your fuel economy. It's not a car, Theo. It's like an ornament that you can drive. That's exactly what it is. And honestly, I somewhat agree with that. But let's get to the final point, the final issue with this car, which is one I expected, but one I'm going to learn to kind of push away a little bit. The problem with this car is the value of it. You're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It does, I promise you, it makes total sense. The problem is, this car is worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot of money, and it's only going up. It's not just worth a lot of money, it's an absolute icon. It is an iconic car, and I feel like anyone with an oldish iconic car will feel this in some aspect, and maybe not as much. But for example, Paul just bought his brand new, his Dream Murcielago, which is again my dream supercar too, and I would feel more so with that car. It's scary. It's scary that it's much more difficult to replace this car. If you do something wrong, it's harder to replace the bits. It's not just the fact that you're driving an expensive car, it's about the fact that you're driving a car that's irreplaceable in a lot of aspects, especially when it comes to the colour, especially when it comes to just everything in this car. Sure, Nissan have started producing some parts for it, I think, as like a classic, you know, they're remaking the parts and stuff, which is pretty sweet, but it's still absolutely terrifying when you're driving this thing around and someone gets a little bit too close to you. You feel like pure rage in your face. Again, this is something you'll experience with any kind of car that's worth quite a bit of money, and any car that's just your dream car that means a lot to you. And I feel that when I buy, for example, I bought the RCF, it was a new expensive car, and you're like, I've got to be careful with this. But now I feel it even more so with this car, but it's like 20 years older, 15 years older. It's bizarre, you know, it's absolutely bizarre, but it makes total sense. Alright, I think that's pretty much the list. But you can make choo-choo noises like that, and you can make it do whatever the heck you want, as I said, and build it to be whatever you want, and that's what I love about this car. It is just next level. But either way, discounting all the flaws, it is the absolute dream, and it's living up to what I had hoped and dreamed about for years and years and years and years and years. A lot of these problems could have been deleted if I decided to go with the new GTR R35. But come on, everybody knows that the R34 is a better car, except for being a daily. And there we have it. That is the conclusion of the list of things. Sure, there's a few other little bits that I've probably not mentioned, and I'm glorifying the use of the R34 as a car that I drive every other day because it's not a daily. I mean, sure, you can actually use it as a daily, but you know what, in the comments people are going to be like, oh, you're just glorifying it because he owns one, and of course I'm glorifying it. It's my absolute dream, and I own it. It's amazing. I could make a video on this in the future if you guys want to see it, of me making things I like about the car, though that list would be a bajillion times easier to make, I can tell you that much. But again, if you want to see that, make sure to let me know down in the comments. But be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video. Until next time, peace.